Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Central here on the brightest, like to say, the most beautiful, and I can also say the most interesting
and most
television, impactful television program on TV, where we balance the equation and definitely look at the big stories first as it comes. In the meantime, don't worry, we're just two. We're supposed to be three musketeers, but the third musketeer, like we said yesterday, is on national assignment, and hopefully she will be back, sometime soon, but definitely before Monday. But welcome. My name is Joe Hansen.
And I'm Benga Borough. Welcome to the program. We have quite a lot for you today, as always. So sit back, relax, grab your cup of tea, coffee, akamu, whatever beverage you're having this morning, and join us on Breakfast Central.
I think with the economy now, I think going forward, you say grab your plate of akamu.
Yeah, and if you look at our montage, we have we give you healthy breakfast options. There's tea, there's
yam and
oats,
there's oats,
there's also akamu. So feel free to relax and enjoy the program this morning. Quite a lot that is happening in Nigeria, in Lagos, and across the Federation. As usual, on Breakfast Central, we always start with our wake-up conversations. Yes, the biggest stories that trended when the newspapers had gone to the publishers. They have to go to the prints, and they can't cover all the news. And news breaks at any time. There's sometimes that news breaks at 9 o'clock. For example, the former Prince Andrew, who is now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, was released yesterday. He was the first royal to be arrested in 400 years. Imagine. Yeah, that's the level of immunity they have. But he was invited for questioning by the police, but he's been released. We'll bring you details of that. You could search the internet for details of that more. But let's come back home and start what we came here to do. Joe, what's the first wake-up conversation?
Well, the first wake-up conversation, Benga, is just the fact that we are calling, well, before we go on to the wake-up conversation, we're calling on the Minister of Power.
Yes. It has reached a critical level.
Minister of Power, we are in a critical stage and condition. We need you to look inwards and see what you can do with the chaotic power situation. It's really bad, and we think it's high time the Minister of Power
and the weather is not clement, so
no, it's not.
We
it's not
really
at all.
need power for other things. I mean, power is the silver bullet that would industrialize Nigeria and also power the economy.
That's what Dangote said.
I don't know why people don't see it that way, or why our leaders haven't given it the seriousness it deserves. You've been at the helms for almost 3 years, so it's enough time to know what the problem is, rejig, and let's know that we're making progress in a certain direction. We're working towards uninterrupted power supply in the country. Yeah.
Anyway, talking about power, let's start off with our very first story this morning on Wake Up Conversations. Don't forget, we're streaming on YouTube. We do not have the coordinator of online services. That's Oliver, buddy, but let's see. Okay, comments. Feel free to drop your comments and let us know what you think about the topics, the show, and most importantly, every single thing we'll bring it to you. But let's start off our wake-up conversation with this one. Another year, another rise in borrowing, and that's what Nigeria's Debt to International Development Association has revealed. If you just woke up this morning, we do not mean to spoil your day, but let's quickly tell you that according to the International Development Association, Nigeria's debt has climbed by $1.9 billion within a year, reaching $18.7 billion as of December 31, 2025. Now, newly released financial data shows the increase from $16.8 billion at the end of 2024, representing an 11.3% year-on-year growth and positioning Nigeria as the third largest borrower in the IDA portfolio. We are behind Bangladesh and Pakistan, who are the first and the second. This surge reflects continued project disbursement in key sectors such as health, where the health minister came out and said, I no see money, oh. They no give me, oh.
So you're wondering which health they're talking about.
Hey, you know, sometimes this story, we have to now break it down. Let's leave all the English. Let's calm down. Now, this increase, this surge, reflects continued project disbursements in key sectors. Health, we've mentioned. The second one, education. The third one, infrastructure. As Nigeria's federal government navigates tightening fiscal space and global market volatility.
Just hang on a bit. I mean, health.
Let me hang on. Let me help Nigerians understand.
Health, education, and infrastructure.
Yes.
And Nigerians are wondering where all this infrastructure.
Wait, let me help Nigerians
there's a lot
understand
of construction, quite a number of construction projects happening in different pockets of but the main one that Nigerians feel is gulping a lot of money.
Lagos.
I mean, dollars. Huge amounts. It's a legacy project. It's a mega project. It's the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway.
So that's
Nigerians have suggested that now, if you are seeking medical help or medical treatment, go to coastal road. So maybe now, if you want to get education, you can also go to coastal road so they can remove some of that money. Or maybe they have things on the coastal road that will educate you and replenish your health.
Let's start by helping Nigerians understand what the International Development Association is.
Yes.
Now, just to help you, International Association actually is
the World Bank.
Is the World Bank. It's part of the World Bank, okay? And it focuses on basically helping low-income countries. It helps them, you know. In other words, what it does is it's like a complement to the World Bank, and it also assists countries when it comes to, you know, managing their funds, ensuring that they manage their debts, and they go ahead to, you know, advise while you try to borrow. They put everything together. So now they have come out. This was yesterday's breaking story. They've said, Nigeria, you guys are number 3 now
in the world.
In the world. Una de borrow pieces. Okay? And you are behind Bangladesh and Pakistan. Now, why is this a big story? Well, it is a big story because let's share this with you.
Vis-a-vis the budget performance, budget defense of last week that we're still witnessing, and a lot of ministries and MDAs are saying
they've not received anything.
Have not been dispersed.
Have you seen the Interior Minister Gbenga yesterday?
He said 0.
Interior Minister said he has received 0
for the capital project component of the
0. Odo. O. This morning I woke up maybe I woke up on a brighter side this morning. I think I have more energy to shout this morning. So let me shout and release all the energy. But serious. 0 between 2004 and 2005. Nothing. Nothing. We've seen the health minister, we've seen agriculture saying they didn't give me anything. No. So one is wondering, why are the ministers rushing out to speak now? Why are they coming out? Why didn't they come out since? They're not coming out. No, nothing touched us. So we did not see anything. No. We have a problem at hand. We are borrowing, and we're not seeing the impact. That's where we are, Gbenga.
Yeah, and it's really, really sad because we still have to pay back those debts one way or the other.
Oh, yes, you have to pay
So it's better we use it for what we're borrowing for. So it's an investment. And there's nothing bad in borrowing as it is. It's what value.
What you use it for.
What you use it for. What value it brings to the people. So really.
Just for context, let me also highlight, based on Nigeria's debt management office, we decided to go to the debt management office in Nigeria. Let's give you some numbers. Nigeria's public debt rose from 87.4 trillion naira in June 2023. Okay? It rose from there, where it was, to 152.4 trillion naira in June 2025. There was a net increase of over 65 trillion naira. So
in one
2023,
administration.
one administration has borrowed
Half of that administration's lifespan.
half of that other administration
of a 4-year
of
term.
Former late President Muhammadu Buhari's term. This administration borrowed it.
Borrowed what Buhari borrowed in 8 years.
It borrowed it in 2 years. That's not all. It didn't stop there.
That's to give you some context.
Okay. Now, they said, okay, there was USD value, Naira to dollar fell, so it became a problem. Now, the new borrowings include $6.45 billion from World Bank in 2024 and 21.5 billion naira approved for 2025-2026. Estimates suggest over 50 trillion naira in total new loans by late 2025. So what we're saying here is, just to add, what we're saying here is, this report just highlights what from 2025. By the time we get to 2026, it's not out yet. We don't have the data for that. 2026, maybe mid-year, then we'll now know.
But the question is, and it would be nice to speak to the experts, is it sustainable? How do we plan to pay back? What are the terms of the loan? Are they attached to conditionalities? What are these loans? What would they be used for? These are questions
Should I answer your
that deserve
question,
answers.
Should I answer your question? I'll direct everybody to the Premium Times newspaper of 2 weeks ago, where the Premium Times, we must give kudos to our colleagues, have consistently promoted that article, and it keeps popping up on my timeline, stating clearly that over 400 and something projects that have been marked, 90 something are already in comatose. The monies are there, but they've not existed. There's still money being pumped into Ajaokuta still till today. So I'm trying to help you see where these. So
it's
till today,
it's still wastage, a lot of wastage.
Let's not even go far. Let's wrap this up before we go to what Nigerians are saying, if we have that up. The minister came out, I'm talking about Wale Edu, 2 weeks ago, do you recall, we're here, and said Nigeria needs to stop borrowing.
And I remember saying, why is he addressing us? You should talk to his people.
Tell your people now. Are you not the one there? Tell them to stop. So if a coordinating minister of finance
can raise the alarm,
that, we have to stop borrowing, this thing, we don't understand, though. And then other ministers of ministries and, of course, MDAs and so on are coming to say, we've not seen money. The money we only got is a paltry sum. We'll leave the rest to Nigerians. Okay, you decide. But let's see what Nigerians are saying if we have that up concerning this story. Nigeria's World Bank debt increasing. Dami, let me take this, then I'll handle the next story quickly. Damio says, if the total cost is $18.7 billion and we divide that by Nigeria's population of about 220 million people, each person, including the person watching this screen now, each person's share comes to just $85. Patriotism is about responsibility. It starts with me and you. We should pay on behalf of Nigeria. Can you imagine? This guy is sarcastic. He said we should start gathering $85 each to pay back. Wahala, the Wahala boy says, spending billions to strengthen Naira just for campaign fodder. Keep your dollars close, because the way the Naira will collapse after the elections, you won't believe your eyes. That's what the Wahala boy says. This one, Finance Nomad says, so Nigeria has $48.5 billion in reserves and $18.7 billion in foreign debt. Effectively, disposable net reserves is $29.8 billion. I hope you know how he got that. He just minused the 18.7 from the 48.5, and what you now have as disposable net is 29.8 billion naira. Nigeria is currently net solvent because its 48.5 billion naira reserves now exceeds its 40 can I see that? 46.9 billion naira total external debt. Analyzing the liquidity, what he says is it's a kind of ratio, 1.03 to 1. This implies government can pay off its foreign debts immediately and would be debt-free in that context. $48.5 reserves provides import cover of 10 months, far and above international average of 3 months. Nigeria's import FX requirement is about $3.8 billion, minus 4.2 billion. That's 3.8 to 4.2 billion dollars. Number 3, credit rating would improve. Government need to cut down on its borrowings. In any case, it's bringing down on available reserves. So
what is basically saying
what Finance Nobel has done. He's telling you, listen,
they have the leeway to.
They have a way to manage this now, because if they look at what they have, especially from the
external,
from the reserves,
from
the reserves, they'll be able to quell the situation quickly and manage the finances. But will they do so?
And it's still alarming.
Exactly.
And they're still
it's still alarming. What I like it, because the World Bank has said it. Hey, you need to watch it. Interesting moments. After all, our debt to GDP ratio is still sustainable. They keep saying, after all, our debt to GDP ratio is still sustainable. No one questioned what the debt was used for. I think that's the key point of this conversation. Ideally, debt should be self-liquidating if properly used or invested in projects that have the capability to generate returns on projects or infrastructures that have the capability to improve life or improve economic activities. What exactly did we do with the debt? That's the question they are asking. Another one says, Tate Michael says, our foreign reserve has grown. No need to talk about our debts. We are good. Oh, really? Okay. Ademola says, that's the irony. Clearing past debt was supposed to reduce future borrowing pressure, which is not up to this. Yet Nigeria's debt to the World Bank has now climbed to $18.7 billion. Instead of building a stronger revenue base after debt relief, the country has slipped back into heavy dependence on loans from the World Bank. It raises a serious question. What was the long-term plan after clearing the previous debt if borrowing would just keep rising again? Borrowing isn't the problem on its own. Borrowing isn't a problem on its own. Recycling debt without fixing revenue, productivity, and economic structure is the real issue. Otherwise, it becomes a cycle of clearing debt today and accumulating even more tomorrow. And pretty much that's what we see. Bega, I mean, I leave the floor to you.
Well, I mean, the Nigerians have said it all. We need to be fiscally disciplined, and also there needs to be some transparency. It would be nice for the Ministry of Finance and National Orientation Agency to carry Nigerians along and let them know that these are key projects that we're borrowing for, and we're not just borrowing for nothing. They should carry Nigeria, because as Nigerian taxpayers, they're still going to pay this monies at the end of the day. So it's very important that they're carried along and there's some level of accountability. And also, like Joe said, the coordinating minister of the economy has sounded the alarm on the level of borrowing, and others are saying, look, even though your debt to GDP ratio still looks good, even though you have a good reserve to cushion the effects, you still need to be fiscally disciplined and, you know, pull the brakes on borrowing. But let's move on to other matters on Breakfast Central this morning. A trending video is fueling public anger and prompting citizens, particularly citizens of Akwa Ibom State, to demand accountability after footage emerged showing pupils of a purported government primary school in Ikot and Bonde, Uyo, learning in visibly poor conditions, with several children seated and lying on bare classroom floors. The video, which began circulating on Friday, highlights sparse furniture, deteriorating facilities, and teachers without basic desks. And a narrator questions the state of public education and the impact on people's dignity and learning outcomes. The development comes amid recent announcements by Governor Umoena of plans to develop a multi-billion naira housing estate in Abuja, a move many Nigerians argue contrasts sharply with the conditions seen in the footage. The situation has intensified calls for urgent clarification and intervention from the state authorities as citizens seek answers on funding priorities and the commitment to improving foundational education infrastructure. Let's take a listen to the video.
We are here in primary school in Bonde, Old School Road, here in Uyo. Look at what the children are passing through. This is the chalkboard. The children in school, look at them here. And our governor is busy telling us that he wants to go and build housing in Abuja. estates. But here in the state, we have less privilege. That he would have looked into it and see how to help these people out. Look at the children here in school. Look at them. Look at what is happening. This is Akwa Ibom State. The state. Anybody that is going to send this video should send it to mine or directly. Let him come down here and help these children. These are our future generations being suffering. They are all suffering because of teachers. Teachers, look at the teacher here. Look at teacher here. No table, nothing. Look at the ceiling. Look at the whole place, how it is. It's a shame. A shame to a state.
A shame, an absolute shame, and words really, really fail me. This is so heartbreaking to watch on a Monday, on a Friday morning, especially coming from an oil-producing state. So you know that the resources is not the problem. The problem is prioritizing what you should do first. I mean, these are children, and it's no crime. I mean, the family you're born into is part of the lottery of life. But I mean, that you happen to be born in Nigeria should not be a life sentence of, setting you up for failure in life. No kid can learn in that condition, in those conditions, and be complete as a child. I mean, the facilities are not there. You can see the teacher, even the teacher is depressed. And I mean, coming from Akwa Ibom, it's really, really sad, because if you look at the projects that Akwa Ibom state government has embarked on in the last few years, mega projects, you're wondering, you think they would have taken care of this low-hanging fruits of education, healthcare, that benefit majority of the population, but that's such a sorry state. And we know what's going to happen is that they will victimize the lady that made that video and say, we are trying to embarrass the state. I wouldn't be surprised if she's even arrested, because we've seen these things play out in Nigeria.
Remember Benin? The guy that talked about the bad roads.
Benin, Niger State, many places. Yeah. Ogun State.
And look at, Akwa Ibom is amongst the top 10 oil-producing states in Nigeria. When it comes to daily crude oil output.
It's heartbreaking. I would yield the floor to you because it's your home state. You're very passionate about what happens in Akwa Ibom.
Benga, it's sad. I mean, when I saw that video, I just said to myself, which way? Nigeria, which is a regular feature here on Breakfast Central. What's the way forward? Back then they used to say the children are the future of tomorrow. But with every day that comes, every sun that shines, every morning that you wake up, you come to ask yourself, are they really the future of tomorrow? But when you have your children, you look at them sometimes and you wonder why people say, no, I have to leave this country. Because it seems like the country is not prioritizing taking care of the future of tomorrow. Maybe those at the top think that they're going to live forever. They think they have...
Maybe.
I always think that. Maybe they feel, oh, you know what? I'm going to live forever.
Because how do you justify their behavior?
Everything.
Wasn't it Akwa Ibom that built this gigantic, futuristic church?
Of course.
Recently, that spent millions of dollars.
The stadium, and this is where the Senate president is from.
Yes.
So you'd expect, this is one of the highest oil-producing states. So you'd expect that by now, I mean, kudos to some of the previous governors who took time to work on infrastructure, the roads, to ensure that there were multiple roads, the places calm, you find beautiful scenery. Yes. They worked on trying to keep it neat. Of course, like I always say, Nigerians are Nigeria's problem sometimes because people will still go and mess the place up. But when it comes to education, Benga, do you remember our first story? That monies are borrowed for what? Health, education, infrastructure. You see? Can you see
where's the education part?
So you're wondering what is going on.
And when you juxtapose Akwa Ibom with what Professor Babagana Zulum is doing in Borno State, the model schools.
The model schools.
It's almost like light and day. And this is, they get 13% derivation fund. It's an oil-producing state. The more reason why we
You
should
even do more.
continue. And we're not just going to let this go. We'll reach out to the Commissioner of Education in
Yeah,
Akwa
I mean,
Ibom State
we do have his contact.
and government
Even the commissioner
officials
in Akwa Ibom.
to speak on this.
Yes, we need to know what's really going on, but it's a sad one. In that video, the lady said in a dialect that after people would say we shouldn't talk about the government, but that she can't hold it anymore. She did that the governor should come by himself and see,
yes,
so that he won't
After all, he's a pastor.
Yes, let him come by himself and see. Listen, as we move to our next story, let's also highlight that while we're here as journalists and look at some of these stories, we want to mention that it is very important, especially for those who are at the forefront, to create an enabling environment for people to thrive. That's just what everybody's asking for. And that's what Dangote had highlighted just a few days ago. He had said that, listen, if there's no power, even the smallest of the smallest businesses, like the small, medium enterprises, will not survive or succeed. They will have a lifespan and they are gone. And I still remember the story or the pep talks you listened to where people said during their time, I mean, you have big names that were mentioned today, from Aliko Dangote to Tony Elumelu, to you can name them. How were they so opportune to become what they are today? Because like they told us, people had set the platform for them and gave them an enabling environment. Today, you and I, Benga.
I mean, and this is level, this is the foundation.
This is the
Once
foundation.
you get it wrong, no, it should be a crime against humanity.
Anyway, I don't know if we've taken what Nigerians are saying.
But let's take what Nigerians are saying
let's take
on this topic. Ukemi says, the government has failed, and I'm not a fan of enough, but let's be factual. Primary education is under the jurisdiction of local governments, though state governments intervenes. We need to know the name of the local government chairman, State House of Assembly member. Call them out. Let them hurriedly do something. It's shameful, Ukemi says. And this is the richest state in Nigeria with a population of about 5 million people, collectively collected roughly 2.5 trillion revenue within 32 months, budgeted barely 2% for education, which has no reflection in the schools, because you already know this is not the devil at work, it's their leaders, says Ansco. Santa says an oil-producing state governed by an anointed man of God, and he cries. Peter says this is a state rich in crude oil, the same oil the Gulf states have. The devil must be a Nigerian politician. Wow, I didn't know you conducted census. Ria says it's not religion with titleship, it's about the individual. See pastor work for Akwa Ibom. See Reverend Father work rate for Benue State. Both of them can make you ask whether or not church people be this so. Interesting.
Very sad. Benga, let's go to YouTube now. Mokwe Chukwemeka, good morning. Good morning, guys. Morning, Mokwe says, good morning, Team News Central. We also have Neji Nan says, good morning. Good morning, too. Chukwemeka says, government don't prioritize the most important things. Look at the school in Akwa Ibom. When you go around the 36 states, you will see rots like this. Sad one. Today is his 5th wedding anniversary. Woo!
Happy anniversary, Mokwe Chukwemeka.
Happy
we wish you a long life
right.
of bliss and happiness.
Happy anniversary, you know. Say hi to your wife for us. Tell her the team of Breakfast Central and News Central are greeting her especially. He also says they will victimize the teacher also. Should be the one to produce the lady who did the video.
Absolutely.
So let's wait and see. Please, we're using this platform to speak to the lady who made that video. Should you be victimized, please feel free to reach out to us here at News Central the best way possible. And we'll be more than happy to spotlight.
I mean, I am going to do a
victimization.
deep dive, like somebody mentioned, the representative of that local government, the chairman, the member representing that constituency. Everybody needs to account for, they need to say why the schools are in that condition, and everyone needs to feel the heat. I hope, I know Akwa Ibom government is very sensitive to its reputation, so they wouldn't like this bad press. So if you don't like it, do something about it. And standardize the schools in the states.
You know, the thing that makes a good leadership are the people that surround you. If you have good people who work hard, who adhere to what each and every, what the tenets of, procedures simply are, then success is just around the corner.
Very
so
true.
while we're talking to the governor, we're also using the medium to say the governor should also talk to the local government
them,
and so
yeah.
on. Let's bring to you our top stories for today. Let's see what the headlines are saying as we begin Breakfast Central on a Friday morning. Today on Breakfast Central, INEC excludes PDP, ADC, LP from River State by-elections. People saying, Azal now. Well, we'll find out. INEC finalizes preparations ahead of FCT polls. The team at News Central will be bringing to you live coverage of that entire event. INEC security CSOs fine-tune plans. They also seek transparency, and they'll be applying the newly amended, act. Analyzing Nigeria's poor healthcare facilities, one conversation we're going to have, even though they say monies are going there and the newspaper front pages too. Stay here. This is Breakfast Central on a Friday.